Good afternoon, tutor and classmates. My name is NKjBkZHo, and I belong to the group number 32 of Foreign Language Acquisition and Learning. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the characteristics of this course. First, it's important to understand this is a theoretical and practical course, and it's nucleo-problemic, or what it is deals around. It's the pedagogical and didactical strategies that we as teachers can use along with text for the strengthening of the foreign language teaching process in the classroom. All right. So it's divided in 2 units. The very first one, it's as it says, it's a theoretical environment where you can learn to support the strategies around the different theories and the process of the language acquisition and learning in the classroom. And then that theoretical will support us in our teaching process once we are in the classroom. All right. And then the second one, it's learning trends in the foreign languages. So it will be basically more than the ones that we use nowadays. The most important ones and the ones that are the teaching methods of the Inclusion that are the latest tendencies around the world. This it's along with so these 2 units will do together along with 32 hours of practice, and then those 20 will be from those 30 to 20 of those hours will be doing in situ, which is the actual place, either if it's a physical or a virtual classroom for us to practice and to use what we learned. And then it will be in a different phases all along the course with different hours of observation practice, where you as a teacher in progress will be helping out the teacher to go with the flow of the class and just do whatever is needed in order to make the classroom with the space as much as easier and helpful for the teacher to continue the class. And then we will be either having 13 of those hours, and then it will match with along 2 hours of observation material development, 2 or 3 hours of SAPEC, which are this particular class that we're going to be having with our teachers in a more likely like a private class between the tutor and us, either synchronic class by the online space as Zoom or any other that the teacher chooses. We're going to also have 3 hours of simulated scenarios where we're going to find some teaching methods, and the idea is for us to realize which one is it that we're seeing. And yeah, so it will be having a lot of practicing, because the whole idea of the course is for us to be in front of the classroom and be able to experience face to face as a first-hand experience with the classroom. And then this is the whole purpose. The whole purpose is for to allow us, the teachers, to be having the option to create the spaces for the appropriation of the foreign language teaching process, and along with the participation of certain process in the different learning environments that we're going to have. We're going to either face the ones depending on the classroom. If it's virtual, we're going to go upgrading on difficulties. And yeah, so this is pretty much what we're going to do. The whole purpose is to help ourselves to create those spaces where we can encourage and strengthen the students' activities carry out to help them develop the foreign language acquisition and learning process with them. And this is going to be done in 5 phases. The very first phase is this one that we're having right here, is recognition, where we're going to find out and we're going to learn about a whole course and what is it that we're going to do and the whole process and the whole phases. And then the second phase is we're going to have to, be face to face with the observant participation, the observation practice. And then we're going to examine all of the factors in the classes and the classroom. We're going to establish a option for us to learn about the students and how do they learn and what will be the best way for us to front the classes and how we're going to treat the teacher and how the connection is going to be. And then the third phase, it's compare the main theories that we're going to learn in the first unit of information, and then we're going to have taken all these theories and we're going to take them to practice, or we're going to find out which one is the one applying in the classroom. Then we have evaluation teaching strategies. We're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're just going to find out what are these teaching strategies that has been used for the evaluation process and how we're going to use them, either if we're going to use them ourselves or we're going to help the teacher to develop them. And the fifth phase is learning outcomes, and then we're going to create a new assessment approach to the classroom environment. This phase is going to be divided in different activities, and we're going to learn through work with them in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much. So now we're going to continue with the agreement of the regulations of the pedagogical and educational practices. And this is just a series of chapters and articles that will regarding with the law or along with the law. It will give us some explanations and some background support of why do we have the practicals, experiences and the definitions and all of it. So we started with the chapter number 1, and that's definitions and purposes. We'll explain the definitions and the purpose of the course as I explained it before. And then the chapter number 2 is generalities and definitions. It talks about practical component and what it is, the pedagogical and educative practice. It talks about the nature of the practice of the course. Why is it important for us to do face-to-face practicals experience? It says what is a teacher in training, which is us, and it's just gives a definition of it. And then the practice training road that we do and we follow. And then the chapter number 4 is academic network of pedagogical and educational practices. It talks about the network and the way that we do, and we take the course and we establish communication synchronically and asynchronically. And then we have the next chapter where they give us some pre-practice seminar advice and information, and this is what we do, what the route says, and that we have to take some courses before we go to the seminar and put our information and wait for the assignment of a class. And it's giving us a lot of information regarding this. And then we took the next chapter, which is monitoring and evaluation of pedagogical and educational practices, where they give us learning assessments and evaluation of the pedagogical practices. The casualty of failure of the course. This is really important. We're all supposed to know exactly how to pass the course and what will happen if we do something that we're going to regret in the future and won't allow us to pass the course. And then it will give us our duties and rights, because along with this information, it's important for us to understand that we have some duties with this course. It was imperative for us to understand the importance of this, and then our rights as well as a teachers in training. And then last one but not least is the chapter number 9, where we're going to find the certifications of pedagogical and educational practices. It gives us information about the school or where we're going to do the practice. And this is important because these students or legal scenario is where it comes in, where they have to be regulated by the government. They have to have some paperwork and some certifications that will give us, because they eventually at the end of the day, they are the ones who's going to give us the certifications that we practice and we do all of these interactions with the course and with the students over there, right? So it is imperative, it is really important for these institutions to be completely certified, so they can certify us back and everything is legal and up to date. This is why the UNAR gives us a list of the schools that already have all this taken care of. And if you are going to bring a new institution along to work with, because you have in a special location and it is hard for you to find one of those already there, then you have to fill in some paperwork as well, just to make sure everything is, good to go. And then we have, let me just try to switch. Okay, right here. Okay, so then we have internship guidelines, pedagogical and educational for undergraduate students. And this is pretty much the reference and the business principles and some information that is required for us to understand, and is the regulation of the research of the stringent of the fundamental access and the training graduates, and as a reference that we have to be aware of. And then integrity of the teacher pedagogical practices between the education of the actors. It's some guidelines that will allow us to be the best at what we're going to do at the program. And then uh, there is also some bachelor programs on the UNAD, and then our program SEDU, which is the Schools of Education. It has a Bachelor of Degrees of Agnosis of Education. It also finds Bachelor of Philosophy, degree with the mathematics to become a teacher of mathematics, or as us a degree of foreign language and emphasis with English in this matter. And then the definitions as the one that we learned before. The practical component was the pedagogical educational practice. What is the nature of the courses, teaching and training, all of these important definitions that we need to understand before we read or before we go any further, because this is the kind of words that we're going to find along the way, and we need to know what they're talking about, what they mean in order to understand the full context. And then we have pedagogical and educational practice route of the program, which is PPE for short. And then it will give you the curricular purposes. And this is find it in the UNA. You can just look for it online on Google just as it is, or you can just go to UNA and follow all the steps for you to find all the program route. And then we have the pre-seminar practice. And this is just important for us right now because I am fourth semester and we need to understand there are some courses that we need to take beforehand doing one of those courses, and we have to fill in some information and just make sure everything is set before you go any further with the course. It's a pack which consists of synchronous accompaniments with a group of students practitioners, and the idea is for us to have some teaching sessions or some sessions face to face with our teachers to, you know, um, these meetings is just to go along with the process to find out how we are, what we stand for, or how things are. Just to make sure we both following the correct procedure with the classes and doing what we're supposed to be doing. As long as we have some questions, it's good to have someone face to face that we can ask in a synchronous manner and not just by email, because we know like when we is asynchronous, then it will take some time for us to have an answer, and as we are in the classes participating constantly, it's a lot better if we do have the information straight and we have everything before we go to the class and do the whole thing. And then we have the simulator of the practical, which is a tool that would allow the ungraded students or us that we're doing to to go into the situational issues. And then this is the idea for us to understand how the class is going to be and just to focus on a different, some sort of theoretical and a different just option of what we're regularly doing with the professor and the terms of the class that we're actually facing. But this simulator will bring us to a different thematic and a different approach, and it's good for us to have all these different options for us to be able to identify the different theories. Anyway, I think this is pretty much what the course is all about, and the whole idea is for us to be fully aware of what the course is bringing to us. And thank you very much for the time and for the space. Have a blessed night.